Hello everyone, welcome to the 2025 Fetch Quest Awards. We will be hosting this event tonight alongside my fellow host, Brewer, Connor, and Liam.
This night is dedicated to honoring the fantastic games that have come out in 2025. We have 10 categories to go over, and for every one of them, each host will give an individual award to the game they think deserves that award the most.
The categories themselves have undergone some minor changes from last year. We've decided to add 2 new categories while removing 2 others, mainly Best DLC and Best Sound Design.
The new categories for this year are Best Performance and Roguelike. These categories were chosen for the fantastic performances this year that gaming has brought us, along with the abundance of addictive roguelikes that have been released this year.
Lastly, we have 2 special categories. The first is our most anticipated games for 2026, and second is Best Non-2025 Games, where each host will give 3 awards to games that they believe deserve recognition, but didn't come out this year. And to end it all, we have the ultimate category, Game
Of
The
Year.
This category is reserved for what we feel is the cream of the crop this year. Games that excel in all areas to present an otherworldly experience to their players.
Now, to start the show, the order presenting the categories will go as follows: Connor, then Liam, then to myself, then Brewer. Alrighty, let's get this show on the road, boys. I'm excited. End of the year, let's start.
Yep, and for our first category, we have Best Story, which, as the category name implies, is an award for we each think the award goes to a game that has a story that captivated us throughout the entire way and is both well written, emotional, and just all around great. And for the award of Best Story, I'm going to be giving it to Ender Magnolia. This game came out very early this year, and I personally think the story of it was just great. It tells the story of this sort of group of outcasts trying to go against this very oppressive and almost tyrannical system, and essentially just trying to fight their way through that while having a world and lore that completely builds off of that in fantastic ways and shows how deep the corruption of this very huge and impressive civilization goes. And that's why I personally think, along with the characters and just all the little interactions and stuff like that, that's why I personally think that Ender Magnolia is deserving of my Best Story award.
Amazing.
Yes.
Congrats to Ender Magnolia.
Yes. I'm sure it's a fantastic game. I do want to play it. My best story for a video game is Expedition 33. And if you haven't played it, it has one of the most captivating first hours of a video game. The first hour hooks you, and then it keeps on going with just building upon idea, with all of these characters giving career performances, and you fall in love with these characters and you want them to succeed. So when things go wrong, when motives change or when motives are revealed, it's so good to watch. And it has some of the most thought-provoking parts in a story I've ever had in a game, and I still think about the ending every single day. I have not gone a single day without thinking about this game, because that's how good the story is. And that is why Expedition 33 has my vote for Best Story.
Fantastic. Expedition 33 did have a really good plot, but my award for Best Narrative goes to Dispatch. Dispatch follows Aaron Paul playing as Robert Robertson III, an ex-superhero who goes into the dispatching gig to try and get his mech repaired. However, he might encounter more friends than he realized. Basically, it's just a game where you play as Robert Robertson going on these dispatch calls, and it's supposed to emulate the early 2010s era of Telltale games, where it's basically a visual novel with a little bit of gameplay segments, but primarily it's a choice-based video game where you make choices with dialogue and decisions that affect the story and the ending of the game that you get. This has been a very popular genre in early 2010s, hence why I mentioned that, but they bring Ad Hoc Studios, which is comprised of a good amount of people from Telltale, have made this game to be as investing as possible for a choice-based video game. And one thing I love about this game is that there is no wrong decision, but that's what makes it so investing, is that your choice matters so much in the outcome of not only Robert, but the characters around him himself. The other characters are just as investing as Robert, for they also have their own motivations, their own reasonings for what they do, and learning about them and seeing their decisions throughout the game is so investing. And because of that, I have to give Best Narrative to Dispatch. I had a great time playing this game, and honestly, I love talking to people about the decisions they've made. Bring back more Telltale-like games.
Amazing. I love Dispatch as well, all the kudos to it, and the fantastic performances in that game. And my nomination for this year is going to go to No Sleep for Kaname Date from The Somnium Files. This game is a spin-off of the Somnium Files series and follows the events of the first game. So if you haven't played that game, please do not play this, because it is very much supposed to be a continuation of the first that you need to have the context for. But with that being said, it is a great continuation of the first game in comparison to the other sequel, Nirvana Initiative, which is more standalone in certain aspects. It has a lot of fun new characters, but also it ties up a lot of the loose ends from the first game that some of the other characters had as well. All the characters have their fantastic performances, especially with their actors reprising their roles. And they just have so much emotion in them. And while there wasn't a big twist in this game in comparison, because this was supposed to be more of a low-key spin-off title instead of like the grand narrative The Somnium Files and Nirvana Initiative had, it worked great as just more of a character-focused intermission between the games. Again, just to tie up those loose ends, to introduce some of the characters from the second game naturally, and to focus on a couple of the new characters, one of the personal favorites of mine being Hina and Akemi. But with that I'm giving my award to No Sleep for Kaname Date. They did it again. I love the series, and I love this little spin-off.
Yes, and those were some great stories, and stories can be one of the main reasons to play a game, but there's also something that is equally, if not the most important part about a game most times, and that is the gameplay. You know, the part of the game that you're actually spending most of your time in. And that is what this category is all about. The game that blew us away with how fun the gameplay was, how robust it was. Connor, take us away.
I definitely will, Liam. And for best gameplay, there really was no other competition for me of what game this year I played that I think had the most fun and just all around great gameplay, and that is of course Hollow Knight Silksong. This game, being a sequel to the first Hollow Knight, not only keeps things that were great about the original intact, but it also builds upon those systems and mechanics that the original Hollow Knight has and makes them better in ways that I couldn't even fathom. With the crest, like some shout outs being like the crest system, how silk is used, and how the movement has been just greatly expanded upon to make you feel a lot more like the almost speedy assassin sort of type of character that Hornet is. And every bit of gameplay, from the platforming to the combat, perfectly reflects that. And that is why I personally think that Hollow Knight Silksong deserves my award for best gameplay.
Awesome.
That is beautiful, Connor. Silksong was an amazing game and had some of the most fun gameplay. Personally, my my best gameplay for the year was a game called Split Fiction. I believe I'm the only one here that has played it, and it is if you've played it, Takes Two, Brothers, A Way Out. It's got a similar thing. It is a 2-player game that I played with my best friend Hunter, and it has some of the most fun and interesting game mechanics. Every single level, you basically have an entirely different game mechanic. The movement is great. The levels are extremely fun, extremely creative. Each area, like I said, you get a completely different way to do puzzles, to do gameplay. They have a bunch of nods to other games. There's like a Metroid section that's sick. You get to be a big monkey. The final boss fight is so cool. It has just tight, robust, really good gameplay, and honestly, I would say this game is underrated. And that is why it is my best gameplay of this year.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I played It Takes Two before, so I've been really meaning to play this, so I'm gonna get to it eventually. And plus, hey man, what can I say? I love 3D platformers, so doing it with some of my best friends, might as well. But that goes into my personal pick for best gameplay of 2025, and I am going to have to choose Expedition 33. You guys may not know this, little known fact, turn-based RPGs are kind of my favorite genre of video games. I know, big shocker here, but Expedition 33 combines aspects of real-time combat, such as Souls games or the Mario and Luigi games, and it implements them in such a compelling combat system where you are constantly dodging, parrying, jumping different enemy attacks, and then counterattacking with your own big moves. I think the AP system is incredibly well designed. I think the skill system is incredibly unique. Every single party member of Expedition 33 has their own gimmick that plays completely different compared to everyone else, with the plethora of build variety that is in this game. There's so much to do in this game. The enemies are so well designed with their telegraphs, their attacks, the audio design of them I think is exquisite. I love the bosses in this game. There was never a point in this game, gameplay-wise, that I thought it was dull or I was bored. It kept me on my toes, it kept me wanting more, and I kept getting more. This game, on a gameplay level, I think is one of the best turn-based RPGs I've ever played. And that's saying something, because I've played a lot. It blew me away. And if so, you want an amazing turn-based experience, guys, I'm gonna be real. Expedition 33 is right there. It's not full priced. It's $50. Go get it, boys.
Awesome. Expedition 33 was a fantastic turn-based RPG. I love that one as well. But my game is going to be from a very different genre, a more fast-paced and octane one. My 2025 Best Gameplay Award is going to Kirby Air Riders, the long-awaited sequel to Kirby Air Ride on the GameCube. And man, it is kind of hard to explain how a game where you have 3 things to control your character as the best gameplay, because you control your character with the stick and 2 buttons. But oh my god, is this game addictive, because you go so freaking fast in this game. The matches are so chaotic, but I love it for it. It doesn't have any of the items like Mario Kart, but you have the copy abilities, which lets you just absolutely wreck your opponents and screw them over, or screw me over, because Guy's done it a couple times, hate to say it.
Yeah.
But oh my god, it's so much fun. There's so many different modes. You have City Trial, which is a lot of fun. You're collecting stats and then going into a just single competition. You have the normal racing, which is just fast, high-octane battles. Top Right, which is kind of just a weird, wacky mode where you're trying to navigate this course from a top-down perspective while throwing whatever you can at your opponents to mess them up. And then this game also has a nice little story mode, which is a lot of fun. In all minutes, you level up your stats similar to how you do in City Trial, and then you go across just a bunch of CPUs. And then online matchmaking for this game is a lot of fun as well, and it has that Masahiro Sakurai touch in it, because he is the one who developed this game, of so many extra little touches to the game, like being able to customize your vehicles, the little gummies you collect. A lot of it is just, it's so nice and so refreshing to see Sakurai in a different project as well. And you can definitely tell the same passion he put into Smash Bros. He put into Kirby Air Riders, because oh my god, this game is so much fun. You guys have to try it out.
Man, I have played it before on multiple occasions with different friends, and boy howdy, this is my number one want for Christmas. Is I want some Kirby Air Riders action, baby. Oh gosh, Kirby Air Riders, so much fun, so much endless replay value. Great for a great party game. But now going into our next category, we have Best Art Direction. For these games that we've chosen, we think that these games are the most visually appealing, whether it's from their graphics to the art style that they choose, whether it's cel shading or hand-drawn. To lead us into this, Connor, give us your pick for great art direction.
Thank you, Guy. Yeah, so for my pick for best art direction this year, I have chosen Sword of the Sea. This is a game that is very short. I think my playthrough took about 4 to 5 hours. But despite that short runtime, it is one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. To just give a quick little synopsis, the whole point of the game is that you're going through these different areas of this continent, and you're essentially restoring water to them. And the game goes really far with that concept because it will turn these barren, like almost desert-like locations into this beautiful like ocean where you have these like fish swimming everywhere. And just the way that the game uses this concept in terms of like lighting and just different environments makes it absolutely beautiful. There were multiple times during my playthrough where I would just take screenshots and stuff of the in-game like environments and stuff like that, and I was like, I could make this into like, you know, a computer background or something, because it is just that pretty. And that is why for me Sword of the Sea is going to be winning best art direction.
I would love to play this game so much. It looks so visually appealing. And another
It's
game
great.
that is visually appealing is a game that is also should have been nominated for more this year. Blueprints. Blueprints is one of the most visually cohesive games I have played. Every single aspect of the game all revolves around blueprints. So the UI is all about blueprints. You have like schematics, you have the angles in the corner. The entire art style is very like heavy lines, very it's like unfinished, but in the best way possible is how I would describe it. But every single aspect of this game is showing you, hey, this is this art style is on purpose. There's a reason behind it, and it is stunning to look at. Like, it just, the environment of the manor is so cool. Every single room looks amazing, and they all serve a purpose to the overarching story, to the puzzles, because most of this game is environment. So the art plays a role in the gameplay, the story, the everything. And that is why Blueprints is my pick for best art directions. It's incredible.
Dude, everything I see about that game, it looks so good. And I hate that I was going to play it, but I did cancel Game Pass. So it is unfortunate that I'm going to have to wait a little bit.
We have Steam. It's on Steam.
This is true. And I was about to say, I am going to be playing it sometime next year because we have it with Steam Family. But going into my pick for personal art direction, I want to choose Hollow Knight Silksong. Alright guys, we all know this game looks amazing, so I have to say it again. It's fantastic. It is a hand-drawn art style, which means every single frame of this game is a form of 2D animation that was hand-drawn by someone, some crazy wizard hand-drew all of this game in his lab to make it as beautiful as possible. Every single area, every single room in this game, all hand-drawn with such exquisite detail, to a point where, I'm gonna be real, I don't think there's another game. I mean, you have its predecessor, Hollow Knight, But I don't think there are any other games like this that put as much detail into a 2D environment as these two games do. And I want to nominate Silksong because there's so many times throughout this game where I would just sit down and look. I would see what was just presented in front of me. The amount of detail, the amount of little things that I can interact with that are just only going to be on my screen for like 10 to 20 seconds. They put so much detail into making sure that every single environment in this game feels lived in, feels like it's natural, feels like this could exist in the real world. There's so much detail that I honestly don't see a lot of games put in anymore in terms of their art direction and what they want to show the players. And because of that, I gotta give it to Silksong, guys. There are no games like this anymore, and so when they do arrive, we have to celebrate them.
Awesome. All right, and for my pick, I'm going to be going with a very weird choice. My game that I'm nominating for Best Art Direction in 2025 is Shantae Advance Risky Revolution. And on the surface, this appears to be a bit of a weird choice because, like, yeah, it looks very good. Nice pixel art style. Looks like a game you'd see on the Game Boy Advance. Why would I nominate this over some of the other fantastic games this year? Well, part of the reason is because this game was actually from years ago. It started development in 2002, but was canceled in 2004 due to not being able to find a good publisher behind it. But Limited Run picked it up. They started development back up on the game, finished it up, and released it this year. Not only on Game Boy Advance, they still kept their promise on that, but also on all major consoles as well. And oh my god, the pixel art for this game is fantastic. The backgrounds are just so lush and beautiful. And I love the character portraits and art, the different outfits for Shantae herself. The game looks fantastic. And again, for the limits they had of this still having to run on the Game Boy Advance, I think they did a fantastic job. The Switch port and the one I played on and a lot of the other ports do use some high-res hand-drawn 2D art for the characters, at least during conversations. But besides that, the pixel art is still the backbone of this game, and they did a fantastic job. And also, Shantae is hot. Yeah, Shantae's hot.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Amen. Shantae is hot. But yeah.
Fork found in kitchen, bro.
Fork found in kitchen, honestly. Yeah, but that's my pick for Best Art Direction, because that is also just not a story you hear very often for a game that was canceled back in 2004, 2 decades later coming out. And moving on to our next category, we're going to be going over Best Music. This award is dedicated to the games that did everything they could to make sure that you were grooving while running through their games. And just the games that touched us with their, not only all the instruments that were played, but also the vocals of the performers as well. So with that, Connor is going to start us off on the best music of 2025.
Thank you, Brewer. And to start off, I'm just going to say we've talked about the person who's wrote this game's music before on this channel, specifically for our Hollow Knight video, which, makes it pretty obvious that I will be giving my Best Music Award to Hollow Knight Silksong. I already absolutely adore Hollow Knight's original soundtrack, and the work that, and like just way that the soundtrack has been built upon and evolved in Silksong is amazing. It has so many great new themes, particularly Lace's theme being one of my favorites, and just a track I am always listening to. And I believe that more than deserves my award for best soundtrack. It is just such a great listen through and through.
I agree. It is a very, very good soundtrack. But I think it is undeniable that one of the greatest soundtracks to ever exist in a video game came out this year with Expedition 33. The sheer amount of songs in the game, the sheer quality, there's not a single skip There's not a single bad song. They experimented so much. Lorien Tostard is an actual genius. Like, he genuinely blew me away with the amount of different genres that he experimented with and the different instruments he used. It was absolutely insane, and I cannot believe that it is like it's a game, it's a soundtrack that exists. It's so good, and it's even better because of the singer. I don't remember her name, and I feel so bad for that, but like, she is a genuinely talented Alice Dupart-Percier. She is so talented, and she deserves all the accolades. Same with Lorien Tostard. They created something truly special, and that's why Expedition 33, I think, is the best soundtrack of the year.
Dude, it is so killer. It is such a good soundtrack. And God, that is also a game that I listen to a lot, especially from this year. But the game that I chose for the best music/soundtrack of this year is going to be Elden Ring Night Rain. So for me, everyone knows I love Elden Ring, I love the Souls games, but one of the reasons why I love these games so much, beyond the good gameplay and good boss fights, one of the reasons is the soundtracks. I think the soundtracks of these games are absolutely fantastic. I think listening to them is such a treat. Some of these games have some of my favorite songs in all of gaming, and Night Rain holds up in that aspect. I think that every single Night Lord theme is very good, my favorite being Caligo, the Fissure of the Fog, which is the giant ice dragon boss. I think it is so good. I love the orchestra, I love the use of the instruments. I think that FromSoft, as a company, has mastered the art of fantastical music in their video games and making it uplifting, making it tense. And that's just something I feel so much with Night Rain. It's already tense enough having to, hey, you're gonna have to go on a 40-minute run to fight this boss that you aren't guaranteed to beat. And having the music just swell on those second phases and just stop when it needs to stop, just to explode again when the phase transition begins or the supernovas that occur, I think does such an excellent job of intriguing me with the game and making me more invested than I already am with the game. And because of that, I have to give it to Elden Ring Night Rain.
Awesome. I love Night Rain's soundtrack, especially Libra's theme. It really makes you feel the dread of that mad, crazy goat slamming your shit in with a gigantic staff. But my award is going to a game that soundtrack mixed well with its gameplay to adapt to whatever you were doing at the time, along with having a fantastic vocal performance. My award for Best Music in 2025 goes to Donkey Kong Bonanza. Oh my god, the soundtrack of this game is fantastic. There is a different song for every transformation in the game, so like Kong Bonanza, you get this big, powerful theme that makes you feel like you can just break through the earth itself. Zebra just gets you hyped up while you're running 1,000,000 miles per hour. And then I don't want to say some of the other bonanzas, not to spoil everything in the game, but like my personal favorite theme out of the other non-spoiler ones has to be the ostrich theme, because oh my god, it just gets you so excited to just be flying through the air, which shouldn't really be possible for an ostrich, but who the hell cares? On top of that, another reason I'm nominating this game for best soundtrack is whenever you do certain actions in the game, like taking out chunks of stone, slamming into the ground, they add different instruments in as well, and the soundtrack adapts to change a little depending on what you, the player, does, which is very hard to implement, but is done so well. I always felt so immersed in the gameplay just because of how fantastic the soundtrack was. And the part that ties all this in together, because this game would not be the same as it was without Jenny Kidd's performance. Oh my god, she did such a good job as Pauline, but also she did an even better job singing as Pauline. Because all the themes I can just keep listening to and they get me so hyped to keep going through the game. I almost like kind of shed a tear through like one of the ending themes and the theme of Breaking Through Heart of Gold, because it's just genuinely such a beautiful performance on her part. And all of that is why Donkey Kong Bonanza gets my award for best music this year.
Great. That honestly, yeah, no, the entire soundtrack of Bonanza is a bop. But we're gonna be going into best performance, which is a category where we're gonna be celebrating the great voices and actors behind some of our favorite characters that uh that were in games this year. And I'll be starting us off with Judy Alice Lee, who is the voice actor for Melanoe in Hades 2. Hades 2 is a very story heavy and dialogue heavy game. And so you've got to make sure that, the protagonist has, obviously is going to be putting up a good performance. And Judy Alice Lee delivers greatly as Melanoe. The little inflections in her voice, the different, like, when you can tell how her cadence will change if she's talking to someone that she respects or she doesn't, and just the little, like, tiny bits that add to character that like, you're not really ever going to notice until you start actively looking for it. Because when I started, like, looking into that stuff, I noticed just how many small bits like that are in the actual performance, and I think that she completely knocked it out of the park with this. And so that's why I will be giving Judy Alice Lee the award for best performance.
I have no doubt that she absolutely killed it. And someone I also think that killed it, despite not understanding a single word she said, was Konatsu Kato. She is the main character, Hinako, in Silent Hill F, and she genuinely delivers one of the most haunting performances I've ever heard in a game. Silent Hill F is known to be a horror game, and she was so distressed making the game, like making the voice lines for the game, because she was genuinely like pushing herself beyond her limit constantly, and you can hear it. Her screams, her like just not even like the vocal parts, but just like every aspect of her character that she voices is insanely scary, because this is a teenage girl put in an awful situation and she embodies it so well. And I was feeling for this girl. I was like, I don't know what I would have done in her situation, but it was genuinely insane. And I didn't even understand a word of it, and that's how good it was. I didn't have to understand anything because I understood the intent, and it was such a raw performance, and it was so good. And that is why she has my vote for best performance this year.
I need to get into Silent Hill more. I've been playing through 2 recently, and the voice performances are already really good. But hearing that, dude, come on, I gotta get in this. I gotta get more in the series. But yeah, no, that is an excellent reason. And here's the thing, even though you may not understand the language in its entirety, you can still feel the emotion that these actors are putting into these characters. But I must say, my pick for best performance in 2025, I have to give it to Ben Starr as Verso in Expedition 33. Ben Starr, Mr. Jimbo Balacho himself, already sold me earlier this year when I played through Final Fantasy XVI. Not my favorite Final Fantasy XVI, however, his performance as Clive cemented himself as an actor that I will remember, and then immediately going from that to Expedition 33 blew me away. I think Ben Starr does an excellent job of creating a character who is so emotionally deep, so emotionally deep. I can't describe how amazing this is. He makes Verso funny. He makes him intriguing. He makes him relatable in a lot of aspects, but he also makes him tragic. Ben, he does an excellent job of changing his pitch of Verso's voice depending on the situation. You can tell when Verso is being a little jokey or being just kid-like, and then you can tell when Verso is absolutely desperate and he just wants things to change. There's a certain line in the end of the game, which I will not say because it is spoiler reasons, that cemented this spot for me for best performance. If you have not played Expedition 33 and you want to see what excellent voice acting is, please play this video game. The other voice actors in this game do an excellent job as well. You have Andy Serkis, you have Charlie
English.
Cox, Jennifer English, yes. You have some of the greatest actors in the scene right now for video games. And guys, I'm gonna be real. Ben Starr was my number one pick, but it's close. And it was not easy to pick. And for that reason, I have to give it to Ben Starr. I think his portrayal as Verso is just a once in a lifetime kind of performance for a video game.
Awesome. Personally, I really liked Andy Serkis' performance as Renoir, especially since we got to talk to him earlier this year during GalaxyCon to hear some of his thoughts on the character, with no spoilers related, obviously. But for me, I gotta go back to the game that I chose for best story, and I'm choosing the best protagonist from that story, Kaname Date, or more specifically, his voice actor, Greg Chun. He does such a fantastic job with the character, making it to where there's a good balance in these games between just having actual funny laugh out loud moments and having a bunch of times where it's like, oh shit, it's serious now. So now Date's got to lock in for whatever's going on, and I just love the range he has with the character and just how much energy he puts into the performances with Date each time. I loved it in the first game. I loved it in Nirvana Initiative, even if that was more minor role. And now that we're back to Date with No Sleep for Kaname Date, I love seeing Greg Chun again. I hope that there's another game with Date in it. I keep hoping to see more of him, because every single time I'm amazed by his performance, alongside all the other characters as well. But yeah, I think that's the end for our best performance category.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Yes, sir.
Next up for the Game Awards is our Indie Game of the Year. They are games made by smaller development teams with a focus on innovation, experimental gameplay, and taking risks. And this year has been incredible for indie games. And to start us off, we have Connor.
I will be starting by saying my best indie for this year will be Hades 2. Hades 2 was a real, I guess, like surprise hit that came around, I believe, late September or early October. And it was just so much fun front to back. I, still do runs of it to this day. I think everything about it is just so much fun, and like the new combat, the way it builds upon stuff from Hades 1, how they sort of go beyond like their own limits and stuff like that they set in Hades 1. It's really something special, and so that's why Hades 2 will be my pick for best indie.
That is beautiful, Connor. I cannot wait to play this game. My pick for best indie is not as well known. It is still, but it is still a very good game. My pick for best indie is a roguelike called White Knuckle, where you climb a tower. It's a first-person game, and you climb a tower, and it's kind of like a horror game, but it's a climbing simulator-esque game where you have stamina, you have like rebar, and you're supposed to climb this giant tower while there's a liquid following you up the tower, and you have to go through different areas. There's different monsters that you have to avoid, and it's just a really, really fun loop of gameplay because it is just unlike any other game I've ever played. It's an incredible roguelike. It's got a very good ambiance to it, and the art style is really cool. It's pixelated. It's like a pixelated gradient is the best way I would describe it, but it is an incredible roguelike that went under the radar a little bit because there's so many big games this year, but it was genuinely a surprise hit for me. And funnily enough, I bought it at the same time I bought Expedition 33, which is very funny because one of those is my favorite game. And this game was also incredible. I highly recommend it, and that is why it's my best indie.
Oh man, Expedition 33? Dude, that's a really good game. I like it a lot. But yeah, if you guys didn't know, funny enough, Expedition 33 is also an indie game, and just so happens that I really, really like this game. So, going back more into Expedition 33, it was developed by a team of around 30 people. French, by the way. I know, kind of icky, yucky, ugh. But this all basically started when the director of the game was experimenting with Unreal Engine, and he made a demo. He made a video demo that he posted on Reddit asking for people, hey, who is passionate enough and who would be willing to work on this game with me? And that is where he got a lot of people from Reddit. He got Lori and Testard from SoundCloud, by the way. Insane pickup. They basically built this game from scratch, and I'm gonna be real, with the quality of the game, you can't really tell, but it's something that is to be said, that indie developers have the potential to create games with incredible visions, incredible graphics, and just incredible presentation. And Expedition 33, I think, is one of the best examples of an indie game full force showing us what these developers have in mind and what they want to do with their games. I think, and for all these reasons, because of the passion project, because of how little people worked on this, only a $10 million budget, by the way, Expedition 33 is my pick for best indie game.
Awesome. My pick for best indie is going to be from a very, very small studio. This was a 3-person team, Pegonaut Studio, and this was their debut title, and I've got to say I am very impressed by it. My pick for best indie of 2025 has to go to Starvaders. And oh my god, this is such a fantastic game, but I think I will get to explain more of it later in a different award, spoiler alert. But part of the reason I want to nominate this is not just for the quality of the game itself, but for the community they have built up and the team behind this, because they have been very committed to just listening to all the feedback possible. They've been very open about their process with bug reporting and then also just balancing. They constantly are adding in little updates with new content and also to just make the game a more enjoyable experience. Heck, while I'm talking now, they are probably still working on it alongside some of their future games like Dice Vaders and one that hasn't been announced yet. But Starvaders is one of the best roguelikes I've ever played. It is a deck builder and it's grid-based as well, and it has a lot of unique mechanics. But I will save some of that for a future award, just because I don't want to spoil too much of the fun. But I, at the very least, had to acknowledge how hard that 3-person team has been working and just how fantastic their first title is. So, Paganauts, thank you for Starvaders. Me and a lot of the other people in Fetch Quest have enjoyed it.
Ah, yes, Starvaders. I will be getting to this game eventually. I have it through Steam! Hooray! And I will be playing it soon. I've heard nothing but great things about it. But to go into more indie games for the most part, we have Best Roguelike. We wanted to make this a category because 2025 presented a lot of roguelikes, whether they're from AAA developers or from indie devs. The point is, the roguelikes have been the most prevalent genre in 2025, and so, because of that, we want to give a quick mention to it. So, to start us off, Connor, give us your best roguelike.
I 100% will. And my best roguelike is going to go to Blueprints. This is a game that I played, I want to say it started about maybe a month ago, and I have absolutely fell in love with it. It is such a incredible, I'd say, experimentation with what the roguelike genre can be. And it, like, every bit of it feels completely separated, but also at the same time completely like what a roguelike should be. It's very weird, but it's a really good kind of weird. And just with how it subverts what you would normally expect out of a roguelike. And I just love how it challenges you mentally over physically, given that's also a puzzle game. And I think, me personally, it's probably my favorite roguelike that's come out this year. And so, if you want to hear about more of my thoughts on it, me and Liam did a Blueprints episode that you can check out, but that is why I will be nominating Blueprints for Best Roguelike. And then we're going to be going over to Liam, who will be talking about another game for Best Roguelike.
Yes, and that game is the game by Landcrab, Peak. You've probably heard about it or seen a clip about it because it is, and to describe it in one word, hilarious. It is one of the funniest games I have ever played. I still haven't beaten it because the game is also a very difficult roguelike. It's insane how this team put together a silly little game that is somehow extremely complex and extremely difficult to beat, and it has a really cool premise where you have to climb a mountain, try to get to the peak of the mountain, but every real 24 hours the mountain will change and you will have to go again with a completely different mountain form in order to climb. And you can play with your friends. It's a very funny game. It's got proximity chat. There are several clips of people just falling, and you just hear like a Doppler effect, just and gone, and it's hilarious. The items are really funny. It's a lot of tomfoolery, and it's a really, really enjoyable game, and it is just a really good roguelike too. Like I'm surprised how good of a roguelike it was. It's not French slop, it's just a good game, and that is why it is my roguelike of the year.
That's awesome. Peak is also another game that I need to invest myself into. I've seen nothing but praise for that game, and so I really need to get in on that. And I actually didn't know it was a roguelike until our little recording here, so I'm glad we got to cover that. But for my personal pick for best roguelike, the game I chose has great build variety, tons of replayability, a lot of friends that I play with, and most importantly, boss fights that keep me on edge in terms of what I need to do to overcome them. And that is Nubby's Number Factory. You've probably never heard of this game before whatsoever, so let me explain what this is. If you've ever played Peggle before, you know, the little point-and-click game where you try to get as many points as possible, imagine that, but a roguelike. It has the 90s CGI TV aesthetic. Makes it very weird. It makes it very weird for the senses, I'll say that. But the point of this game is that you are trying to collect as many points as you can by popping Nubby onto these little pegs to give you a certain amount of score. And the more score you get, the more money you get, which you can use for shops and to create builds out of them. One of my favorite builds I love to do, I love making the doubling build, where you get something called the kazoo, and you should basically wait for seconds to keep going on so that your pegs can double, and then you'll have something called a cactus. Basically just keep poking at these pegs to keep doubling the peg value that you get, so your score gets really, really high, and honestly has won me a lot of games. No, I'm incredibly addicted to this game. I think it is super fun. It is cheap on Steam. There's going to be a mobile version coming soon. I think that this game just presents one of the most intriguing roguelike designs in recent memory. I haven't seen one like this. Yeah, no, I'm being serious. I loved Nubby's Number Factory, and I'm honestly trying to do as much as I can in that game. It's a lot of fun, and what can I say? It's a fantastic game.
Yeah, Nubbies is just a really funny choice because you do not know what to expect with that name and just the Steam graphic it has. It's so funny. But my choice, as I have spoiled before, for best roguelike of 2025 is going to Starvaders. I already explained the team, so now I'm going to explain what makes this game so special. And Starvaders is very similar to some other deck building card games, like let's say like Slay the Spire. This very small one no one's probably heard of, I guess. But in all seriousness, this game is so much fun with just its sheer variety of strategies you can pull off, and it feels very fair as well. In Starvaders, you have a pilot and a mech, and you're trying to fight off the Starvaders, the invasion that's coming in, and you have to choose a unique combination of cards along with specialized artifacts to fight back against them. And I cannot even begin to scratch the surface of just how many different builds I've made for this game. I made builds where I can just jump around the screen a bunch and then slice people up with the Stinger mech, which makes me feel like a samurai. I have filled up the entire screen with just a crap ton of bombs with like one of the newest characters added in their content updates. And then on top of that, I've done some crazy maneuvering around with some of the pilots on like a kind of a summoner class. There's a lot of variety, but also they're very smart. For all the content they've added in the game, they have a pack system as well that makes it streamlined to make sure you can still make those fun combinations, but also not have the packs diluted with just lots of new items to make it hard to build a consistent deck. And again, like I said, this team is constantly listening to feedback, and this game just keeps getting better and better. It has a very catchy soundtrack. I love the art in it. It doesn't have like the characters and the story in general aren't going to be the most like fantastic thing you've ever seen, but I do love the art style. A lot of the characters have some nice spunk to them, and just again, they all feel very unique to play. There's 12 pilots and 3 different mechs, and there's a lot you can do with all the cards in the game, and especially all the invaders coming in as well. Especially on the higher difficulties, you're gonna have to be on your toes to beat them. But that is why Starvaders is my best roguelike of 2025. But now we're gonna move on from talking about what came out this year, and we're gonna talk about the future a little bit for our most anticipated award, where we're gonna be talking about what games that are coming out in 2026 that we are most excited for. Some games that are from series that are returning, or games that are trying to make series of their own or stand on their own in some way. So to get us started with this, Connor is going to present his most anticipated game.
Thank you, viewer. My most anticipated game of next year is Tides of Annihilation. This is a game that got shown off, I want to say, around April or May this year, in a PlayStation Presents, I believe. And I have been obsessed with it ever since. It looks like a mix of Devil May Cry with like JoJo stand summoning, and it just looks incredible. From all the gameplay and stuff they've shown off, it looks fantastic. And the fact that it's from I believe a studio's first game, and it looks this good, is just very very promising, and I will definitely be picking it up and playing it next year. If it comes out next year, of course. But I'm very, very excited for Tides of Annihilation.
I am also incredibly excited for Tides of Annihilation, but a game that I am also very excited for that got a reveal, like world premiere reveal, very recently is The Godslayer. It's you guessed it, open world RPG where you are the avatar. No, you are an elemancer who has the powers of the elements, and it is a story game inspired by like China Eastern inspired, like it's like Eastern but steampunk. It looks really good, and it's got a really cool looking combat with again, I hate to say it, DMC style combat. And a really cool looking world, and it just looks like a lot of fun. I am really excited to get my hands on it and become the avatar.
Awesome.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest, when I first saw this game, I thought it looks like another generic open world RPG kind of game, and then I started seeing more and more of the combat, and I'm like, dude, this game might be heat. Get it? Because like firebending, haha, English major over here, yeah. No, getting into my personal most anticipated game of 2026, it is, without a doubt, Resident Evil 9. I think the Resident Evil series has gone through some ups and downs. We're mostly on a rise right now, especially with the remakes that are coming out, with the new games that are coming out. I think they're very creatively cool. I still need to play 7 and 8. However, I am excited for 9 because I am a fan of the series, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. But most importantly, the big thing that I'm excited for is Leon Kennedy is coming back as one of the protagonists of the game, and I'm so excited because he's my GOAT. He's the one who saved Ashley. He's the one who had to survive Raccoon City, and I love him. He's one of my favorite video game characters of all time. I think he is so cool. I think he's actually like a very compelling character, honestly, for the goofiness of Resident Evil. And honestly, like, because of Leon coming back, there's a lot of gameplay implications that are going to be coming back to 9. Like the idea that if you weaken an enemy, like to a certain extent, you can then use your roundhouse kick as Leon to save yourself on ammo while killing them, like in Resident Evil 4. So there's a lot of implications and stuff there that I'm just so excited for. And I think Resident Evil 9 has the potential to be one of the best Resident Evil games ever. I mean, they're coming back to Raccoon City Police Department, which is personally one of, if not the best horror location ever. I think it's fantastic. What can I say? Resident Evil 9. Come on, can't come sooner, baby. I'm carrying you home. Please come sooner.
Yeah, I think we're all very excited for Resident Evil 9 and also Leon, especially him and his roundhouse kicks. I feel like he would probably win a fight of just pure kicks against like 20 Taekwondo masters, because oh my god, that man could deliver a mean roundhouse. But my personal game for most anticipated is going to be a series that it's been out of action for a while. It's only had a couple games, but those games have touched the hearts and, most importantly, the ears of the people who have played them. And that has to go to Rhythm Heaven, specifically the new game coming out, Rhythm Heaven Groove. We've only gotten very few snippets of this game so far in a single Nintendo Direct, and all we know is it's coming out in 2026, but oh my god, I love Rhythm Heaven. I've played DS, I played Megamix, I still need to play Fever, but these games are so addictive. They're probably some of my favorite rhythm games in general, just because their gameplay with each of the mini games as well, they revolve around each of the goofy characters from the cast, and having to time it along to what they're doing, it just makes for such an endearing loop. Don't get me wrong, I love a lot of the other rhythm games as well, especially like, where you have to match the notes and whatnot, but I feel like Rhythm Heaven gets it the best for me, especially to where you can play the game with your eyes closed a lot, and I'm very much looking forward to what they do with the new entry.
I'm very excited for Rhythm Heaven Groove too. Well, you know what I mean.
Rhythm Heaven as Groove
Rhythm
as
Heaven
well.
Groove 2, let's go.
Dude, they're making a second one already? That's crazy.
Game so good it skipped the first entry.
True.
Just like the best series, Garden of Banban.
Garden of Banban, yes sir!
Alright, but now we're going to be moving on to a very unique category, which is Best 3 Non-2025 Games. So we're essentially all just going to choose 3 games that did not come out this year, but we still want to give recognition to. And I'll be going first with my first game being Ghost of Tsushima. This was a game I had always heard great things about, but I had never really played. But in preparation for Ghost of Yotei coming out this year, I decided to, I'll play it. We'll see if I like it. And it became probably one of my favorite games of all time. The story, characters, world, and especially the combat are all just so well crafted. And I absolutely just loved every second playing it and going through hitting combos and just exploring the beautiful environments throughout the game. It was just all such a great time, and which is why I will be choosing Ghost of Tsushima for my first award. And my second award is going to be going to Outer Wilds. Outer Wilds is a game that is very hard to explain, because I am of the belief that if you are to play, you should go in as blind as possible. It is by far one of my favorite games of all time, definitively. It is such an experience, and again, it's just hard to describe. I know Liam can vouch for that too.
It's peak. It's so good.
It's just peak. There's really nothing else to describe it as. It's just peak. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Again, I would heavily suggest, if you have any interest in this game, just give it a chance, because going in blind is the best way to experience the game. It's how I experienced it, and I would not wish it any other way for anyone else. But then on to my third award. I'm going to be, circling it back a bit, and we're going to be talking about AI the Somnium Files.
Let's go! Sorry.
I played this Yeah, I played this game this year in preparation for our video on it for No Sleep for Kanamidate, and I absolutely loved it. It is by far one of the funniest but most heartfelt visual novels I've ever played, and is arguably my favorite visual novel of all time. It sort of goes neck and neck between that Somnium Files and Ace Attorney, the first Ace Attorney trilogy, but it is just such a good game front to back, and I absolutely enjoyed like every bit of it. And I would heavily suggest anyone who's even interested in Somnium Files to play it. It's so good.
Those at least one of those games I've played, and they are all very good. But I believe they're all good games. I've heard nothing but good things. My 3 non-2025 games that I will be talking about is, I will say just the first Ace Attorney, because I'm playing through the trilogy and I kind of feel like they're all so connected that you should say them all, but I've only played 2 of them. So the first Ace Attorney game is an incredible visual novel, definitely the best I've ever played. It's a very good mystery. I love all the characters. I understand why Phoenix Wright is such a beloved character now. The cast is amazing. It's really good. And the next 2 games are both Metroidvanias that I played this year, with the first one that I played this year being Hollow Knight. I played Hollow Knight for the first time, and it is genuinely like it's just objectively one of the best games I like that exists. It is so well crafted. It is beautiful. It is good. It is fun. It is just what a Metroidvania. It pushes like the genre of Metroidvania to its very limit in terms of every aspect. It's such a good game, and I cannot believe it took me this long to play it. And so, because of Hollow Knight, I decided to pick up Nine Souls, which was so surprising. That game was absolutely fantastic. The story was really good. The gameplay was like just up there with Hollow Knight, and I loved everything about it. It was really good. The music was good. The final boss of the game is genuinely a top 10 boss fight of all time for me. It is a really good game. And my only Metroidvania experience before this was Castlevania, which is like half Metroidvania, because hence the name Metroidvania. But I love this genre now, and I cannot wait to play more.
Dude, I'm so glad that you like are now like into the Metroidvania genre, because I had that similar experience too with Hollow Knight actually when it first came out. Like, dude, sometimes going back to play games that you've heard are great from like a long time ago, dude, it's sometimes worth it. And for me, those games were the Portal games. I played Portal 1 and 2 this year, and I'm going to count them as a single category because they're similar enough and they're short. Portal 1, when I played it, I went into the mindset of, okay, how good can this game really be? It was fantastic. Absolutely the best puzzle game I've ever played. I'm being serious, ever. I think it is so much fun with the puzzles. They're not easy puzzles either. They are like ones that they're actual like brain busters. Had a fantastic time with that game. I love the lore. I love the final section of that game too. I'm not gonna say what it is, but there's a certain thing that you can do to get the true ending that leads you into the last, I want to say, 4th or 5th of the game, where you are not doing what you usually do. And I think it is so intriguing. Portal 2 picks up a little bit after the first one. Fantastic game. Oh my god, the puzzles get even crazier. They add new mechanics. There's more characters. There's an entire section of the game where you learn about the creation of GLaDOS and the creation of the company, and just what that means in terms of the creation of the portal gun. And I just think it is so deep. It has J.K. Simmons in it, which he's one of my favorite actors of all time. So if you want to hear some voice performance from him, go play it. I cannot believe it that it took me so long to play Portal 1 and Portal 2. They were phenomenal. I actually I wanted more. I downloaded fan mods of the game just to get more Portal stuff because I was that intrigued with the game, and I can't wait to play those games soon, like those other fan games, because it was just that good. Secondly, I have Celeste. Now, I heard a lot of people say this was hard before going into it, and I was like, alright, bring the challenge. Yeah, they were right. It's hard as hell. I haven't done everything in this game. However, I played through the story and most of the B-sides. It was fantastic. Oh my god. I think Madeline as a character is so much fun. I think she is incredibly investing. I think that her story, though short, is a good one. I love the characters, but the thing that I love most is the gameplay. This is some of the tightest platforming I've ever played in a video game. It's so much fun. It's very linear in terms of like how they want you to complete certain challenges and whatnot, but I'm okay with that because the game is constantly throwing a challenge in my way that it itself wants me to complete, and I'm all for it. Game is so hard, I've died thousands of times in my save file alone, but God almighty, it is worth it. Please play Celeste, it is so much fun. And then, of course, for my final game, I have The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Wow, what a phenomenal game. I've been trying to go back and play more 3D Zelda games because that's something I've just been wanting to do. And oh howdy, look at that. The GameCube emulator just went on Switch 2. Let me play Wind Waker. Oh my god, this might be my second favorite Zelda game now. I'm not kidding. I loved it from start to end. I love playing as Link, exploring all the different islands of Hyrule. I love learning about the lore and what happened. I love Ganondorf as a villain. I think Tetra as a character is super, super cool. The dungeons were so good. I actually can't believe this. People actually don't think the Wind Waker... Some people don't think the Wind Waker dungeons are as good as, like, other... People think they're below average on, like... And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? These are amazing dungeons. Like, I think they're fantastic. Yeah, no, I loved Wind Waker from start to end. Like, and it dethroned Tears of the Kingdom as, like, my second favorite Zelda game. And I just gotta say, hey, man, you got Switch Online? Play some Wind Waker. That game was heat. But yeah, no, those are just some games not from 2025 I wanted to bring up.
Awesome. I love all those games, minus Portal. I haven't played it yet, but I will get to the Portal games sometime. For my choices, I wanted to do just one modern pick and then a couple of the retro ones I've played as well from this year. By retro, I mean they've been out for a good bit, close to 10 years or like way above 10 years. So the first one I'm going to be picking is Pikmin 3, because man, oh man, do I love the Pikmin series, and I've finally gotten around to Pikmin 3. I played it a little when I was young, but I had to return it because it was a rental at the time. But now I finally came back after beating Pikmin 1 and 2 to beat Pikmin 3, and it may just be my favorite Pikmin game in the series. Was it a little easy? Yes. But was it so addictive and fun to play and micromanage the hell out of my Pikmin? Also yes. Because it is just such a beautiful and lush environment. Pikmin 3 at the time was probably one of the best looking Wii U games, and it still holds up today because it is just beautiful exploring these environments as the little captains with the tiny little Pikmin. I love all new enemies in the game. I love the new Pikmin as well. I feel like they were a lot better balanced than 2, even if they still had a couple of standouts like the winged Pikmin. But overall, I like the pace they took with this game. They went back to some of their roots with 1, still mixed in a couple elements from 2, and made it to where it was just, they took a lot of the best elements from the series. There were some areas where, again, it was too easy, especially with like survival with the juice mechanic, but it was overall still a fantastic time. And also there was all the challenge missions as well on top of that. There's just so much content with this game. I love Pikmin, and I love perfecting Pikmin as well because I got all the fruits in the playthrough. Now the next game you need to be a little bit for a perfectionist for as well, and that will have to go to Dark Souls 3. And what hasn't been said about this game that I'm not going to say now, because this game is fantastic. It is definitely my favorite out of the Dark Souls trilogy, because I've played a lot of Souls games this year now that I think about it, because I did a lot in preparation for Night Rain, this one included. But Dark Souls 3, the reason I'm talking about this one, not some of the other Souls games, is just for its fantastic combat, and especially its bosses and music, because I love the whole lore and the world around this series, and 3 was like probably the perfect way to end it. The endings, the characters, what the world has come to after so many different iterations of the series, and all the new bosses as well. Nameless King lived up to his name. He was super hype. Love Slave Knight Gale. I love so many of the bosses. And also, if I'm going to be honest, this soundtrack, even like above Elden Ring and Shadow of the Erdtree, this game probably has my favorite soundtrack out of like all the Souls games. Because, oh my god, Twin Princess theme, the demon themes from the DLC, and then Slave Knight Gale. Oh my god. And then the final boss theme as well was such a nice callback to Dark Souls 1. All of that is the reason why it's one of my games for best non-2025. But my last game, the one I have enjoyed the most this year, and unfortunately I could not nominate last year just because it's a very long game and it came out very late in the year, has to go to Metaphor ReFantazio. I love RPGs, and this game strives in every element of what you want to see in an RPG and does a little more. Very similar to Persona with its aesthetic, but also structure. But in this game, you play a potential king candidate, someone who is competing with everyone else to try and be the king of a country after the current ruler has passed. And to do that, along with competing in just the popularity polls and whatnot and appealing to the masses, you have to deal with a lot of demonic shit, or the humans in the game, alongside the other candidates, especially probably one of the best villains Atlas has ever created, Luis Guillaburn. Because, man, this combat is fantastic. It takes a lot of inspiration from what we've seen Atlas do in their previous games, especially the SMT series, but it also has its own infusion and mix. I love the archetype system in this game and how much variety it adds. I love how punishing the combat can be sometimes. And on top of that, the story just really touched me, especially with its ending. Its music was fantastic as well, especially the final boss theme. Like, it touches me every time I hear it. It just gives you so much hope. But man, Metaphor is something I can't describe in a short bit because it is a very long game. So I will talk about it in a separate video sometime, but please play this game. Luis Guillaburn is a fantastic villain. Let's see, Heismay is awesome. Leon Stroll is the best. Please play Metaphor ReFantazio. It is one of the best RPGs I've ever played.
Don't forget about Fabian.
Yes, and Fabian is a bad bitch. Don't at me.
So true. So true.
I love
All
Hot
right,
Fox
but-
Women.
Second fork found in kitchen, everybody.
Yep.
But it is that time. The moment we have all been waiting for. It is time for our personal game of the year. And before we get into the actual awards, we're just gonna each go and give a little bit of what this award means to us. And I'll start. The award game of the year to me is an award given to a game that delivers on every aspect, almost if not perfectly. From gameplay to visuals to music to story to characters to world building to lore to like everything you could think of. Game of the year is a game to me that excels at all of that. But that's just my piece.
All right. Game of the year. I think it's because we are all very much large, like we play a lot of games every year. This might be one of the biggest years in terms of like video games I've played. I've played some long games. I finished some games that I should have beaten a while ago. But it's just, there's always going to be that one game that just hits you different. And for me, it's my game of the year. And not only is it my game of the year, it's my game of all time now. It's my GOAT.
For my opinion, game of the year, here's the thing. I love the idea of us having our own little game of the years because not only is it unique to us, it's also something that like it kind of represents like our taste in video games. Now, sometimes we might have similar opinions on what is Game of the Year, and sometimes we can acknowledge that there are games that came out that are better, but frankly, sometimes we just enjoy for our picks of Game of the Year. They're just games that hit home, and they hit close to home, and we have some nostalgia because of it. And frankly, for my pick of the Game of the Year, it'd be something that hits me hard, like hits me hard in terms of my enjoyment, in terms of what I can do with the game, really just how much fun I have with it. And frankly, a lot of people won't agree with my pick, but I'm okay with that because it's meant for me.
You know what? That's a really great piece, guy. Because I think that's the great thing about like us having our own little show, but also there being so many different shows out there. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of choices you don't agree with. Yeah, there's going to be some games you felt like that were snubbed. But I think that's the great thing about video games, and also the economy we're in with video games now as well. Video games have become so more accessible to people to play, but also to develop as well. There's so much choice in what you can play. There's a bunch of niche games you've never heard of, but there's also the games that gets the community riled up and excited, and it makes you just want to hug the guy next to you, just like you're so excited for that next game. But personally, Game of the Year for me means all those things and more. I view video games as an art form, and any of the games I have nominated for Game of the Year, maybe if they weren't objectively always my favorite games of all time, they are games that I objectively see in my eyes as art, and I want to give them an award for that as such, and I want to recognize them for all the aspects everyone before has said, especially with the gameplay, music, art, and any other aspect. Video games are such a unique medium that I feel like we need to recognize them in the best way possible. That's what our Game of the Year means to us, and I think to start, we're going to have Connor say his Game of the Year.
That is true. That is a very true statement you just said, Brewer. And my Game of the Year for this year is going to Hollow Knight Silksong. I have been waiting for this game for ever since it got announced, which was so long ago. I absolutely adore Hollow Knight. It is one of my favorites of all time. And in my opinion, Silksong is an improvement on that in almost every single way. The art style is more vibrant. It's been built upon incredibly heavily to the point where, like, while they seem similar, if you've played a bunch of Hollow Knight, which I've played a bunch of Hollow Knight, you can see just all the little differences and stuff that really just makes it so much more expressive. The music by Christopher Larkin has, as I said earlier in the best music section, has been just I'd say overhauled so much, which is crazy because the original Hollow Knight already had an amazing soundtrack. The gameplay, which I've already talked about as well, has been just, I'd say, like, they took the foundation and they put so much more work on it from Hollow Knight, again, to like just make you feel like you're actually playing as Hornet, whereas in the original Hollow Knight you're this small little dude. Here you're this lean, almost assassin like hunter, and the game really makes you feel like that with how expressive and much more emphasis the movement is put on in gameplay. The story is just, it's great, and there's both expressive, or not expressive, there's both very deep lore and also a very great story, given the fact that this time our protagonist actually talks, so we get a lot more information than our silent little bug dude from last time. And yeah, like, I just think this game, as someone who's been a Hollow Knight fan for just so long, this is a game that I was so hyped for, and I'm so glad got announced. I remember when the trailer got dropped, me and Guy called each other and like talked about it for like 10 minutes over the phone before we had even watched the trailer. And it was such a moment that it came out. And I'm so glad that it did, because it is by far one of my favorite games of all time, and I think more than deserving of Game of the Year.
That was beautiful, Connor. I'm very happy that this game was so impactful for you. I will keep mine a little brief because we have an entire episode on this, but this game is truly special to me. I picked it up randomly. I saw it looked good, pre-ordered it, played it day one, that kind of stuff. That's not like crazy. I got hooked within an hour. I cried in the first hour, and I never wanted to drop the game. I kept wanting to play more and more of this game because that's how good it was to me. I was never the biggest fan of turn-based combat, and I was wrong. Like, not only this game, but for other games. I'm playing Chrono Trigger right now. This game taught me to love the genre more than, like, I loved Persona 5, but the gameplay was not the main draw. The gameplay of E33 was genuinely insane. The story was insane. I fell in love with all of these characters. I still think about them every day. I've wrote about these characters, very personal things that I haven't shared with people because it is important to me and me alone. This game means so much to me now, and it's crazy that it came out less than a year ago, and I can not stop thinking about it. I've been wanting to replay this game ever since I beat it, but I'm holding off because this game is special and I want to replay it when I know the right moment to replay it will happen. It's astounding to me that a game can be everything I ever wanted and more, and also be critically acclaimed everywhere, because it is absolutely incredible what this game was able to do. It's beautiful. I kept talking about this game. I kept trying to get people to play it. I still try to get people to play it constantly. The more people that play this game, the happier I am, because I want people to experience the beauty that was Expedition 33. This game deserves all of its praise. I understand people think it's overrated. I understand people think it's shouldn't have swept, but this game meant so much to me that seeing it be getting its accolades was I genuinely had goosebumps whenever the guy went up there and said Mesame Claire Obscure, because I love this game. It's everything I could ever want and more, like I've said before, and it has the best performances in a game I've ever played. The soundtrack, genuinely generational. I don't think I'll ever stop listening to this soundtrack because it can't go wrong for me, and it's just so good. And I'm just I can't put how much I love this game into words, but this will be my favorite game for a very long time. I don't know if anything will ever beat it, but it is such a good game, and that's why it's my game of the year. It's my game of all time.
No, that's awesome, dude. No, I'm glad to hear that, because Expedition 33 has just introduced a lot of people. There is the meme of history of RPGs, Final Fantasy VII, Persona 5, then Expedition 33. I mean, it's funny. The meme is funny, don't get me wrong, but it is kind of telling of just how many people have come together about this game, and I'm glad that a lot of people are enjoying it, and I think it's an excellent pick for a personal game of the year. Makes sense, it's his new favorite game, who would have thought? But yeah, no, fantastic pick, I must say, fantastic pick. I love this game, without a doubt. That is one of my new favorite games of all time, but it is not my personal game of the year. That, my good friends, would have to go to Monster Hunter Wilds. Ooh, wow, who would have thought? Oh, but the game, the performance, it's so bad. Wee. I don't care. I get it. The performance is a genuine issue with the game. It's nothing to scoff at. But you've got to think of this through my perspective. This was the continuation of one of my favorite games of all time, Monster Hunter World, in terms of, I want to say, like, brand new console games in the Monster Hunter series. I absolutely love Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise, and to get a new game in the series that seems to increase the scope of the games to a new level that we've never seen before, oh my god, day one, sign me up, I'm going for it. Monster Hunter Wilds is absolutely one of the most fun games I've ever had, and honestly, it's a little special to me because this is a game that I've been able to share unique experiences with all three of you in here as well, and more people outside of the podcast. This game has brought together so many different people that I cherish, and I'm glad that they get to experience it alongside with me because Monster Hunter is something very special to me. This is absolutely my favorite multiplayer series of all time. I think in terms of what it does, there's no other game that it does as well as Monster Hunter. And I think Wilds has so much going for it. It's so much fun. The ability to switch between any weapon you want mid-combat, I think, is genius. I think the monsters are so much fun. All the new ones are so good. There's not a single bad monster in this game, except for maybe Basarios, but we don't count him because he isn't a new monster. But then you have fantastic new additions like the wound system and offset attacks. Every single weapon in this game feels so much fun to play, which is something I can't say for with past Monster Hunter games. I've actually had weapon experiences where I just haven't had fun with them. I can't say that for Monster Hunter Wilds. I think every single weapon is designed so incredibly well to make it appealing to everyone. Yeah, maybe the game is a little too easy. I really don't give a crap. This is some of the most fun I've ever had in a multiplayer game. And what's crazy, it's only getting better. They're adding more content as time goes on. We just got done with the biggest title update of the game so far. And with the upcoming DLC that's going to be coming, it's going to get even better. And I gotta say, I'm excited. I don't know if there's any other like gaming experience in 2026 I'm excited for more. Yeah, I said Resident Evil 9 earlier, but that's a game, that's not a DLC. In terms of gaming overall though, I'm excited for this DLC more than anything else. And because of the experiences and because of the pure enjoyment I've had from this game, Monster Hunter Wilds is without a doubt my game of the year 2025. Please, guys, play this game. I want to play more with people. It's amazing. I'm literally going to get off this recording just to play Monster Hunter Wilds. That's how much I love this game.
Awesome, guy. Awesome. I also love Monster Hunter Wilds, and especially as someone who grew up with 4 Ultimate, seeing a lot of the characters from 4 Ultimate return, especially like Little Miss Forge with Gemma now, and Fabius being like the head of the council there, and Nadia as well with the DLC. It's awesome seeing them all return alongside some of my favorite monsters. But my choice isn't going to be going to a multiplayer game. We're going back to a single player game. And this is probably one of the best platformers I've ever played. It may just be my favorite. I have a hard time debating because of how many fantastic ones I've played. But my personal game of the year for 2025 is going to Donkey Kong Bonanza. Because this game does so well in every regard. And I was just grinning like an idiot the entire time playing it. We made an entire episode about how fun it is as well, so if you ever want to hear more detail about it, go check that out. But in short, Donkey Kong Bonanza does so well as a platformer because of so many different aspects. First is your moveset. Donkey Kong feels so good to move around. In comparison to Mario, especially because this was made by the Mario Odyssey team, he feels so big, strong, powerful. Donkey Kong doesn't just jump over obstacles, he rips and tears through them like he's the Doom guy. He will take out a chunk, he will throw it at his enemies, he'll swing it at them. He'll use it to like basically do a double jump sometimes. He'll ride on the terrain and he'll just run around. And I have to say too, this game's performance is very impressive, especially as an early Switch 2 title, but also just with how you can hit literally any piece of the terrain to mess with it. There are very few exceptions, but most anything you can see in the game, you can rip it up and use it. There are multiple videos out there where you can see people destroy the like entire layer you're on. And now that we're getting into it, the layers as well, in this game, you're exploring a mine because Donkey Kong loves bananas, and there's a bunch of Banandium gems. And you're trying to go to each layer to get more Banandium gems and to find the golden root with Pauline's help as well. And oh my god, the layers in this game, they're so varied and beautiful. You'll have like basic ice areas, and then like, okay, we're doing just like kind of a landfill zone with a bunch of stuff strewn about, but then you also have some really beautiful layers on top of that. The lagoon layer is a nice start to the game. Nice, chill, laid back. It has a lot of the varied terrain you're wanting to see with a nice balance of what enemies you'll find. The resort layer is freaking beautiful. I love exploring it, especially with like the floaty terrain you can grab to make Donkey Kong fly up 1,000,000 miles. And then I also really love the feast layer as well. But on top of that, I love the ways you can explore the layer with the bonanzas. You have a bunch of them in the game. Again, I won't spoil all of them, but all of them add a different way to play as Donkey Kong. They focus on one aspect and run with it. Like, for example, Zebra runs really fast across the terrain, is really good for traversal, getting around areas quickly. You have Ostrich, which is really good if you're up on a high platform and you're trying to fly over to another area. And then Kong Bonanza, which you can absolutely decimate the terrain with and all your foes. But this game is just so addictive to play. I would get some Banandium gems, and then I would have trouble putting it down. That'd be like one more, and then it'd be like 3 a.m. Because it's just so addictive to play. There's a skill tree that improves your moveset each time, and then, like I mentioned before with the music, banger soundtrack to listen to the entire time. It got me so hyped to play, and I cannot just say anymore how much I love this game and how fantastic of a platformer it is, and just how much it means to me as my personal game of the year for 2025. Please play Donkey Kong Bonanza. It deserves all the praise it's got.
Wow. Oh, wow. That was it. That was the presentation. Wow. Guys, I just want to say thank you, guys. Like, I'm not talking to the audience. I'm talking to you three right now. Thank you guys so much for just another excellent year. Like, oh my god, we did it again. We made more episodes. And it all concluded with this in 2025. And I just want to say thank you guys, like, so much for being willing to do this. Like, this has been our little project, and I'm just so glad that we were able to do this again. Oh my god, we did it.
No,
we did it again. Like,
We did it, Patrick. We saved Bikini Bottom.
we saved Bikini Bottom.
Let's go.
Wow.
Getting a little personal here, like, the more I get into broadcasting in terms of like my like future career and like my college and whatnot, like, the more I'm just like willing to just do more and more fetch quest, and the more I love it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm so glad that we get to do something like this as our little project, because oh my god, it's so much fun. It's a way for us to talk to more people besides us about the things we're basically just most passionate about, and that's video games. And oh my god, guys, I seriously, give yourself a round of applause. Like, we did another year of this, and I'm so so happy we did this. Oh my god, if we look, all I'm gonna say, Jeff Keighley needs to set aside another award for best podcast in gaming and give it to Fetch Quest. Like, all I'm gonna say, he's kind of throwing in that aspect. He's throwing at this game show. People who are complaining about this game show this year being ass, it's because of that. Is solely because of that.
Sure, why not? I will say, I do very much hold a deep spot for this podcast, especially the way we've still been able to stay connected over these past couple of years, just for our love of video games. Because growing up, I always just wanted a bunch of people I could passionately talk to video games about, because again, I see them as an art form, and also it's just like one of the best forms of entertainment as well. I love video games, so I love the fact I could talk with 3 other people that are just as passionate as me about video games on like a weekly basis, and also like spreading our thoughts on some of these games to a wider community as well.
Yeah, of course, man, of course. God, like, I'm just glad we're able to do this. Like, seriously, this is something I'm very passionate about. I'm glad that we're consistently uploading. And yeah, no, we eventually just get to culminate like this right here as like kind of the Fetch Quest conclusion. Wow, who would have thought?
Well, conclusion of this season.
Of this season,
what a
2025. Yeah.
beautiful year it was.
Yeah, no, a lot of fantastic games have come out this year.
The
What
year
year
where
game? Like,
lots of games came out.
the year where games came out. That's definitely the summary for 2025.
Yeah.
No, seriously, like getting serious on this, like 2025, I'm gonna be real. I think it was our best year in gaming since 2017, and I said that for 2023, which is saying something because 2023 was insane.
It's really hard because again, we've gotten just like so many great games year after year, and this year was just really hype as well for like all the games that like finally came out. Like we finally got Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4. Like didn't get any nominations this time, but once all the chapters are fully released, you can bet your ass we'll probably be seeing more of it, especially from Connor. But we also got Hollow Knight Silksong after all this time as well. They just shadow dropped out of nowhere. Metroid Prime 4 finally came out after like almost a decade, I think, of being announced from E3, which that's crazy to say because E3 is literally dead. But like we finally got a lot of these games that we've been waiting just forever on.
Yeah, and also looking at like the consoles too, we got the launch of the Switch 2, which like, yeah, you can argue the catalog isn't the best right now, but dude, we got like bangers. Like, we got Donkey Kong Bonanza out right now. We are getting more games coming to the Switch 2 that I'm so excited for. We have the announcement of the Steam Machine, which will be coming maybe sometime next year. We're still a little up in the air about that. So console wise, like we're looking good right now. God, and of course the games to come out, like exclusives. Oh my God. Exclusives this year were absolutely crazy good.
Oh, definitely.
DK Bonanza. DK Bonanza.
Yeah,
That's the big one for me.
This was probably one of the hardest like decision like making things I've had to do in a while because of just how many good games came out this year and like what games I had to talk about and what games I had to like unfortunately to like cut for this. It was a hard decision making.
No, I definitely feel you on that because some of the games, like I was fine not talking about them because a lot of us have played the same games as well. So like one of you guys were talking about, I was like, okay, they can talk about that while I talk about a different game. But then there's the second game as well. I'm like, I'm sorry, little one, but I gotta talk about this game instead. I only got one nomination.
Yeah. No, literally. Dude. One thing I would use to describe this year with, I'd say variety. This game gave us a lot of variety, which is ironic that I say that because a lot of roguelikes came out this year.
There were a lot of roguelikes. We didn't even like mention a lot of the more popular ones as well. Like obviously we played Night Rain, but we only nominated for music because there was a lot of other big roguelikes as well. There was Bollix Pit. There was a lot of good roguelikes this year.
Yes, and don't forget Nubby's Number Factory. Connor may be a hater. He may be a hater of Nubby's Number Factory, but he hasn't experienced it himself because he keeps going back to Starvaders.
Hey, Starvaders is goated. I don't know what you're talking about.
No. I have no doubt in my mind that it's good, but he needs to understand that Nubby's Number Factory is good.
All right.
Just he needs to experience it. Trust. Connor's a hater.
I want to say this is a very big equivalent of that one tweet that's like Jeff Keighley will hype up a game and it'll look like this, and it's the Sid the Science Kid screenshot. This is what you're doing right now, guy. I just want you to be made
you're
aware.
just a hater. You're a hater, Connor. This is what I mean. This is what he's trying to. This is why I say this, because he's a hater and he's trying to downplay it because Connor's a little hater.
This is coming from the world's #1 hater, by the way.
Exactly. Game recognizes game.
So true.
God.
But with that, I think it's about time this episode ends. We've been yapping for a while, and you know, we're very glad to have done this video, and we hope you all enjoyed. If you like this kind of stuff, then please like and subscribe and comment what games you played this year that you would give Game of the Year. Or, you know, what games that you wish we had talked about. Because trust me, there are some that we definitely wish we would have talked about. But with that, I think that's all we have to talk about.
Yeah, and I think if you guys enjoyed this, there are a lot of other games, like we mentioned, that we have played this year. Look forward to next week's episode, because we're going to be talking about a lot of what we played in 2025 as well. Stuff that may have not have been able to make the nominations this time. But with
Yeah,
that,
no, of
we love
course.
video games, we love Fetch Quest, and we love you guys, our audience. Thank you so much for watching another year of Fetch Quest.
Of course. Thank you guys again so much from all of us. We've been Fetch Quest, and this has been our Game Awards. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Catch you in the next episode.
See you guys
Bye-bye.
for Fetch Quest Awards
Bye.
2026.